All right, hi boys and girls. So this week we are starting topic 16 in our math, which is all about perimeter. And we have actually already started learning a little bit about perimeter because we've done our area unit. And if you think back to the beginning of the year, I taught you the little chant that goes like this: area, area, perimeter. And at the time, we had only talked about area. So let's review area first. We already know area. We know that area is the measurement of space inside of an object. So here is my object, and area is all of the space inside. And we already know too that we can use square units or square whatever it is, square feet, square centimeters, square meters, whatever it is, because we are measuring all of the equal square units inside of a shape or object. And we discussed how there are two ways that we can find the area of a shape. Number one, if it gives you squares, you could just count the squares. You could go through and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, until you count all of them, and it would tell you how many square units there are inside the shape. But we also found an easier way, especially when the shape is nice and even, a regular or common shape like this rectangle. We can multiply the sides. And remember, I taught you the formula for finding area of a common shape. It is length times width. Remember? So for this one, the length of this rectangular shape is 8 centimeters, and the width is 4 centimeters. So my equation would be length times width, otherwise 8 times 4, which would be 32. And then I put square centimeters, because once I put it in area, our units of measure and our label changes to square units. And it told me over here it was centimeters, so it is square centimeters, okay? So if you look up here on my heading, I put area in the middle because that's kind of like the space inside. And then perimeter goes all the way around. So it was area, area, perimeter. And I remember my 3rd grade teacher telling me that it's kind of like a picture frame. And I'm gonna zoom out a little bit so you can see this is a picture of Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World, which you know I love. And I always think that the area is kind of like the glass or the actual picture of a picture frame. So it's all of this space inside, and then the perimeter is like the space all the way around. You could think of a backyard where it would be like this grass is the backyard. The perimeter is the fence. So the perimeter doesn't have to be square units. It's just whatever the units of measure is. Maybe just normal inches or feet. Or in this case, in a picture frame, I might use maybe inches or centimeters. And then on the inside, since I'm doing a covered area of space, that's when I would switch over to square units. So let's take a couple of notes and looks at perimeter. So when we are looking at perimeter equals the unit of measurement of the distance around a shape. So how many units of measurement goes around the shape? So let's look at this shape here. If I was finding the area, which would be how many square units are inside the shape, I could count them and I could see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or I could multiply length times width, which would be 3 times 3, which is also 9. So both ways work. That would be 9 square units. But when I'm finding the perimeter, I'm just counting the outside. And sometimes I look at how big each section is and I make a little mark on it to help me count. And it can get a little bit confusing when you're going around the corner, but you're counting all of them. So like for this one, I always start at a place and I go, that's 1, 2, 3. So the length is 3 units. And then let's do the width. There's 1, 2, 3. 3 units. Then there's this side. 1, 2, 3 units. And this side. 1, 2, 3 units. Okay, So, and Stella's eating over on the side, so sorry about that. So to find the perimeter, you would count how many sides there are, and you would just add up the units on each side. So this one would be 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. So I'd go 3 plus 3 is 6. This 3 plus 3 is 6. If I add those together, then I'll see 12. So the perimeter of this shape, perimeter equals 12 units. Okay, so that kind of shows you the difference between area and perimeter. So perimeter is the distance around, which was 12. And remember, if I was finding the area of this same shape, it would be just counting all of them. It would only be 9 because 9 is on the inside. But when I count every single space along the edge, then it was 12. Okay, so we're going to switch over. And today I'm going to show you a couple of different interactive notebook lessons. These are up on Schoology as well. And the first one follows 16-1, which is your first lesson on Pearson this week. And the second one follows 16-2. So I already assembled mine together. So if you are following along and you're doing the interactive notebook activity as well, you might want to pause the video and go ahead and set up your notebook, and that way you are all ready to go. Okay, so we're going to do 16-1, which is kind of just what I showed you, which is counting to find the perimeter. So I don't know why I just kind of start on the left side and then I just go through and I make little tick marks, okay? So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this one, oops, I forgot to cut the top. I always do that even in class. So this one up at the top, this one is 12 units. So I'm gonna do P equals 12 units. And I'm choosing to do units because it didn't tell me that these were square inches or square centimeters or square feet or anything like that. So I'm just doing simple units, okay? So I'm gonna do the next one. I'll do this whole side on the left. So I'm gonna start up at the top, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the right side of the shape, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now the bottom of the shape, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now this side, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Perimeter equals 18 units. Okay? Now I'll do the bottom one. 1, 2. Now the side. 3, 4. Now the other side. 5, 6, 7, 8. This one, perimeter, is 8 units. If you're following along, maybe you try to do this side. You can pause the video and we'll go through and check. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna keep going for it. So the top is 1, 2, 3. This side is 4, 5, 6, 7. The bottom, 8, 9, 10. The side, 11, 12, 13, 14. This shape's perimeter is 14 units. P equals 14 units. And remember that P stands for perimeter. Okay, now this one. Starting in the top left corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This one is also 14 units. Perimeter equals 14 units. And finally, this one at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This one is 12 units. Oops, and I'll put my P equals. Okay, So that's when it doesn't give you any information on the side. It doesn't tell you any of the side lengths, and you've got the squares. You can go ahead and you can count all of the lengths of the sides together. Now for 16.2, just like with area, our squares are taken away. But that's okay because I have the side lengths of these rectangles or these shapes. So now we're going to be adding to solve for perimeter. And some of you that are very familiar with other ways of finding different equations to use for math, I'll show you another way too where we can use a little bit of multiplication. But if you're going to use multiplication, you have to make sure that you're not accidentally only multiplying the two length times width, because that would be finding the area, not the perimeter. And remember, perimeter is the distance around the shape. And it goes area, area, perimeter, okay? So one thing that we have to keep in mind is we see that we only have the length and we have the width of all of these shapes here. So, and you might be wondering, well, Miss North, what about the other sides? Because I know that perimeter is the distance all the way around, not just halfway around. So one thing that we need to remember, and I'm gonna kind of put like this little star note right here on top, is that opposite sides of regular shapes are equal. And this word opposite sides like this means like the neighbor across the street. So if I know that this side length is 6 kilometers, which is that km, then I know that the opposite side of it is also 6 kilometers. And opposite sides in our Pearson textbook are sometimes called parallel sides. And we just did our geometry unit, so we know that the parallel lines are the lines across from the shape that never ever cross, no matter what you do forever and ever. So I know, if I know that this side is 6 kilometers, that means that this side is 6 kilometers. So I can label it. And if I know that the bottom is 3 kilometers, how big do you think the top is? It's also 3 kilometers. So now I'm ready to do some adding. I can do 6 plus 6 plus 3 plus 3. So I'm gonna do 6 plus 6 plus 3 plus 3. Well, I know 6 plus 6 is 12, and I know 3 plus 3 is 6, and then I can just add them together. 12 plus 6 is going to equal 18. So my perimeter equals 18 km, which are those kilometers. Don't forget your label at the end. Okay? So let's go through and let's try this shape. Can you pause and try to find the opposite sides? If this right side is 7m or 7 meters, how tall is this side? It's 7 meters. And if the bottom is 5 meters, then the top is also 5 meters. So now I'm ready to just add them all together. 7 plus 7 plus 5 plus 5. And remember, with our commutative property of addition and multiplication, I could do 7 plus 5 plus 7 plus 5. That's okay too. As long as you're adding those same numbers, it doesn't matter what order you add them in because of the commutative property. So let's go ahead and let's do those. I like to kind of keep them together because I know my doubles facts so well. So I'm going to do 7 plus 7, which we know is 14. And I'm going to do 5 plus 5, which we know is 10. And then add them together. And 14 plus 10 means that the perimeter equals 24. And then I'm going to go to the front and check my label. 4 meters. 24 meters. Okay? All right, let's do this one. Opposite sides are equal in regular shapes. So if the bottom is 6 meters, the top is 6 meters. If the left is 2 meters, the right is 2 meters. Okay? Now we're ready to add together. I'm gonna do 6 plus 6 plus 2 plus 2. 6 plus 6 plus 2 plus 2. 6 plus 6 is 12. 2 plus 2 is 4. 12 plus 4 is going to be 16. So the perimeter is going to be 16 m4 meters. Okay? Now we're down here. So go ahead and you can pause the video if you're trying to do this by yourself or with me, and try to do these on the bottom row, and we'll see if you got them right together. Now, you might be looking ahead and seeing, oh no, Miss North, it only gives me one side length, but this is a square, and all the side lengths of a square are equal. So think about that, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go and through and answer these. So opposite sides are equal. 9 plus 9 plus 3 plus 3. 9 plus 9 is 18. 3 plus 3 is 6. And if you want to stack and add it, that's okay. If you want to get scratch paper. So think, what is 8 plus 6? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 24. So perimeter equals 24 meters. Okay. All right, opposite sides. Top is also 10. 10 plus 10 plus 4 plus 4. 28 meters. Okay, all right, let's look at number 4. All right, so it's a square, so all sides are the same. So 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, which you might be thinking in your head, Miss North, can I do 4 times 4? You totally could, because that's the same thing as repeated addition. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, 4, 8, 12, 16. 16 km for kilometers. Okay, so that's one way that you can use addition to solve perimeter. Now, for another trick, if you think that you can keep your brain kind of like on track, is you can use multiplication, and you can use multiples of 2. Like I notice here on our first shape that I have 6 2 times and I have 3 2 times. So I could also do 6 times 2 plus 3 times 2. So I could do 6 times 2 equals 12, 3 times 2 equals 6, and then add them together, which would also get me 18 kilometers. So that's another thing that you can think of, and you might even be able to try more. But if you just like adding the sides, since this is our first week doing this, go ahead and do whatever you feel comfortable with, okay? All right, good job, guys.